Salam, Queen Mary, day 2. I woke up and thought about immigrants. No immigration detention centres. Immigration detention? Unfair. Get it out. Anyone who wants a passport, they're allowed a passport. Anyone who wants to come to the United Kingdom, former United Kingdom, and get beds, food, please do. If it's worth the trip for you to get here, then yeah, we're not going to question that. Come to England. We're going to change all our police stops into poke centres, which you get there and you get a bed until you get a home and you get fed. It's going to cost less than what we were doing at those places before. What a hideous thing we were doing before. So, immigrants. We don't have any immigrants in this country. You're all English. We don't have another way to adjudicate that other than who's here and who's not. So, new rules for tourists. If you want to come here, you've got to be English for a little bit. I very much encourage you to try English things, but whatever you do here, you're kind of making them English. So don't go too crazy. But yeah, people on this island are English. I'm going to replace Parliament with something better and more internet-y. Real time. And once it goes off, like, I'm not really going to be steering it. Other than at the very architectural level. Which isn't where the designs that anyone is really emotionally invested in or affects their lives take place. It's purely on, like, well, what shape is this wiki? And I can tell you what is likely to happen and why it's good. So let's do that. Let's start with the fundamentals of democracy. Democracy owes its name and its original conception to the ancient Greece civilization. About 2,500 years ago, you would find the first democrats, the first people who got together and thought, we've built the world's first metropolis. And that wasn't true, but it was as true as their history could tell. How are we supposed to run it? And so they asked each other. And they started making laws. Well, where I'm going is questioning is how to run it. Having a group of self-elected officials write whatever the hell they want as law and then enforce it on other people. No, that's not what we're doing. We're not a democracy anymore. We're a monarchy. I'm going to show you that it's better. The Saouds, they have their king. They're happy with what he does, by and large. Well, I'm going to be a better king than the Saouds. I'm going to make you happier with me than they make their people happy. But they do make their people happy. The situation, whilst we were a headless monarchy, which we were, no one was in control, that was, in my assessment, that the media were out of control, saying whatever the hell they liked without any accountability, causing far greater problems than they could have really known by miseducating our public at all times about everything. So I will insist I have the kill switch on that one. No more media circulates our streets, no more tabloids, no more newspapers, until they can come to me and establish to me that I will put my name to them and say, this has credence. But if you're going to learn about the world, and all this world has to offer, to do so by reading snapshots of random events that are taken anywhere in the world, as they're unfolding before they've made any sense, from all different authors, with their different opinions on the situations. It's not reasonable. There's no collection of newspapers you could stack together, for instance, to tell you about what was the Cold War. In fact, all you could do is read the newspapers at the time and be very scared about things that never came to be. That's oppressive. That's massively oppressive on people's minds, on people's hearts. Propaganda is super duper real, and I'm the queen of anti-propaganda. Whatever it is oppresses. The universities are all free. They have their buildings, they have their teachers. If we can make sure that those teachers are fed every day, and the passionate ones will still turn up. You don't need any more money for a university. And to have your building, your electricity, well, everyone needs electricity, so I'll try and make that free. And I say I'll try in that it's my job to make sure we don't have a system that encourages people to just leave all the lights on all the time until we have some kind of free energy set up. But, alright, electricity's free. I didn't go further into democracy. That's it. Some people who considered themselves the be-all, end-all started writing laws that they wished to enact on all the other people. That's where I take issue. You won't see me doing that. I don't even know if it's ethical for me to advise you, and I will, to show how far, how close I'm going to go to setting laws or moralizing, other than that I am protecting rights. I will state my position firmly. I don't want gay marriages in churches. I want them everywhere else, but not in churches. I want more people in churches, but that's my job. I've got to make them more exciting. I don't particularly want people growing cocaine in this country. And if you're Sunnis, I don't want you growing cocaine at all. I don't want to be seen as somebody who hasn't thought through my actions. I act in the name of liberty for all. Cocaine doesn't do good things to people. if you don't have any problems with getting your heroin, and you have no reasons to use dirty needles, heroin addiction is a harsh term for somebody who enjoys the use of opiates every day. Yeah, a lot of people taking opiates every day in 1800s. A lot of people. And no word for addiction. That was just fine. You eat, if you're lucky. You can have some heroin, if you're even luckier. If you've got no worries about where that's coming from, it's all good. You're not going to start any fights. You're not going to die of an overdose. That's what I'm worried about. Alcohol is more likely you're going to start a fight than ecstasy, mushrooms, weed. If I were to judge for myself drugs and their danger to people, I put cocaine at the top, and I'll tell you about that in a second. And then it's got to be alcohol, I think. What's the most likely to either hurt you or make you hurt someone else? Well, hurt you. We don't tend to give out acid in doses if we're giving out acid that are likely to hurt someone. That's been tested. It's been tested by, you can imagine, really, really pretty people who overdosed one day. And that was that. They set a kind of bound of how much you don't take. That's how humanity works. It's how we learn to eat. Some of those berries, they're not good. Acid is probably third on my list. You don't quite know where your mind's going to go if you're taking acid. I've never taken it, but I understand a bit about it. Acid you can take under perfectly safe situations, and just once in a while really end up permanently changed by that in a way that you wouldn't want it to. On the other hand, those are the three that I would kind of go, cocaine, alcohol, and no, LSD is so rare to harm you in this kind of way that ideally we wouldn't mention that at all. And it would make it less likely that anyone's going to have a bad experience. You know? Say if right now it's about 1 in 1,000 that's going to have a bad experience. Well, that doesn't make it worth not taking. It would be better if we just didn't mention that 1 in 1,000. Because less people are going to have bad LSD trips. It's a strange way of thinking about it, but it's why there are teachers who choose what you teach. I want our country to care about science in a big way. I look at the military situation and I think, if only they had been more interested in space, or the ocean, or the air, radiation, computers, anything but bombs. We are living in the most peaceful time in history, the most well-fed, the most literate, the most possible. Each person has more possibility than we had not very long ago at all. In the 50s, you could never write a poem that could potentially be seen by everyone in the world. Now you can. That's something you could do this evening. How often can you write a poem and publish it to the internet? You always have something that no one else had before, which is the ability to speak to everyone. Whilst that's getting started, some people have louder voices than others. And basically everyone learns from them. If you're rich, you're like the older sibling in the situation. People look up to you no matter what, just because to be rich does mean to be in the center of something. To be regarded. You can't be rich if no one knows who you are. I mean, if you don't have a name. Some people don't have names. I don't know his name. There was a man not long ago, like 2012. I was working for a charitable organisation who we were interested in this. We were called Students for a Sensible Drug Policy, set up by an amazing man called Levent Achbulut. He is also a polyscripturist and somebody who learns various languages specifically to find out what is written in them. A very good man, and a man I would like to have as my accomplice for certain fact. Inshallah ta'ala. He is a man that the government employed, not Levin Achbulut, to check. Is it okay for people to smoke hash? Is it okay for people to have cannabis? You're the best scientist we can find to answer that question. Please, go investigate. Well, he went away. He did his best science on it. He'd been training his whole life to do some science on things. He came back to the government and went, yeah, it's grand. It's fine. Take ecstasy too, as long as you use it alright. They fired him. They straight up fired him. That's not okay. As employers, the government is treating this man with extreme contempt. They asked him to do a thing, and they're firing him because he did the thing that they asked him to do. Now it's on his reputation and CV. You know, I know this man was fired. Well, that's a big thing. Moreover, who the hell are these people who are saying, we employed a scientist to find out the answer to a question, but we didn't like it, so we fired him, and kept the country, like, it became unethical as soon as you knew to keep on banning it. Why are you banning it? It's important. It's really important. How are we making our decisions if we're not listening to the people who are good at making those decisions? They employed him because he's the person who's best fit to judge. No. No. It's like the jury system. You've got a judge. He knows the law through and through. He thinks his time in his evenings alone, wondering about his own ethical situations. I know very well that he does. And then you would have a court trial, and the jury decide. Any individual in that room is going to choose better than the jury, who have to argue and then decide. We're not locking people up anymore, but that's no. No, you listen to the scientist in that position, wouldn't you? Okay. Well, there's been another completely independent piece of research, not related to that case. People taking mushrooms. I've never taken mushrooms. No, I picked some in Edinburgh. Um, beautiful day. A test has come back from people testing it in the safest environments they can and checking it out. It's taking random people who had never taken mushrooms before. Like 40% of them came back and said they were permanently positively affected by that experience, and it was their most like spiritually awakening thing that had ever happened. No one got poorly from it. Most of the rest said it was all right, but it wasn't that good. Well, what happens if we're the nation who just one day said, if you want to try mushrooms, then if it's going to make you like more cheerful people forever, why don't we have Mushroom Day? It's because you didn't have a queen to think about it. I can do that. I could do that. All I need really is enough people to believe that I'm actually the queen. But if we can pull that, and I totally acknowledge that I'm on the same. That's the crux. I've given you all the maths, I've given you all the science, and I've given you all the reasons that you should listen to scientists in political situations. I'm the Queen of the UK, much of which I'm offering to be taken back but hasn't been taken back yet. I haven't left enough of a pause. 49 states of America are mine. Alaska is given back. Hawaii is oh, Hawaii. I'd love for you to be part of our kingdom. I'm sure you have a way of asking that for yourselves. Please do consider whether you would like to join our kingdom. Alaska, you're on your own. Join Canada. Hawaii, I really, really appreciate that. I mean, imagine if the UK had a Polynesian bit. That's just great. There's no one like Hawaiians. There is no place like Hawaii. Yeah, please do join us. You can have like a say, and we'll have Hawaiian Awareness Month. Of course. What's wrong with Hawaiian awareness? Oh, I'd love a Hawaii, please. I hadn't really been so covetous until I had thought of Hawaii. Can we ask The Rock? I'm not going to edit that out. Guys, you can't get woker than me, and I just said a really, really, like, the type of offensive thing that Prince Philip would say. I'm so sorry. Of all the peoples and cultures who I've read into their histories, you Pacific-y people, I haven't gotten there. I would love to. I'm only 30. I would like to go to Indonesia. Right. We're not going to keep money. We don't need to keep money. People who have like gotten used to having a certain standard of living, whatever it is, I don't want to decrease you. Okay? But I don't know I can tolerate bartering anymore. It just gets too competitive. We've never had a fair system of money. We've only had systems of money which get unfairer and unfairer increasingly as time goes on. Yeah, we'll get out of the EU. Miss Merkel, we've got a load of money that we're not going to use, and obviously the banks that make up the numbers. You do yourself a favour with us, Miss Merkel, we don't care. Then we're not going to have money in this island. Whatever the old laws said about people who own stuff in my country, you really don't. Don't send any armies, we'll get ours out of everyone's way. I was getting around to, I want definitely airplane holidays like once a year for everyone, no matter what part of the neighbourhood you live in. Everyone gets an airplane holiday somewhere in the world. I mean, twice a year. We can afford that. We have all the planes. It's disgusting. 2 airplane holidays for every family. And a boat one. I want you to go on a boat each year. I mean, it's there. We've got the boats. We'll get an internet system set up of you take and you say, I want to get on the boat that day, go across to Europe. Guys, what's our nation going to be like if we've got such well-travelled people? They're going to have good manners. I could allow you to keep money. If we did that, then it would make it easier for other countries to follow our footsteps if we figure out how to fix the money situation. But for that, I am going to be tyrant of money. I'm going to be Godzilla of money. You, I'll get it fixed. We're not having a 99% and a 1% situation. We're having St. Paul's opened, the glass cube constructed in the middle of it so none of the walls get harmed. Pews out for a bit. Sell them off. Yeah. People can buy pews from St. Paul's. We'll put bean bags in there. Beds for poor people. Nice soup cookie machines and a glass cube to preserve everything inside, but you can still look at it. It's going to be open 24/7. You're going to be able to get food and a bed there, and it's the first thing I actually do. Take St. Paul's, get it working, bring the 3D printer. Anyone who works in the area and wants soup and bread and things like that, come to St. Paul's. And spend your hard-earned money on whatever food is around. We'll have you good food. We're not enemies, Justin Willoughby. You're just not my employee. As it is. Thank you for tending to the church. Madonna, you've been really pro-British through thick and thin. Lady Madonna. Do you want to come to St Paul's for a bit? We might need some music at St Paul's, possibly. We're going to stream it. I wonder, do I need to then go have a conversation with... If I go to St Paul's, I'm not going to find anyone to have a conversation with. There's no one in charge.